Hello and welcome back to another episode of Low Spec Labs. Before we get started, I would like to say thank you for supporting my videos with your likes and comments. They are much appreciated, and if you wish to continue to support this channel, just hit the like button, or if you're new to this channel and would like to continue to see this content, hit the subscribe button. Otherwise, let's get started. What are modules? That is a complicated question. So, to understand what modules are, we have to go back to the old days of rhel 7. Basically, Red Hat had a philosophy, and that philosophy was you shouldn't change major application versions unless you are also changing the distro version of the system itself. So if you wanted to go from like Python 2 to Python 3, you would have to upgrade from Red Hat 7 to Red Hat 8. This was, of course, very annoying to administrators who just wanted to get their systems to work. To fix this, Red Hat came up with the idea of modules. More specifically, application modules, not to be confused with kernel modules, which are a whole different thing we'll go over probably in a couple chapters. Basically, in rhel 8, Red Hat split its distro into two different groups. There is the base OS distro, which contains applications that are not going to be changed until the next edition of Red Hat. And then there is the AppStream distro, which uses application modules to allow you to change the major versions of applications without having to upgrade your entire system. So effectively, modules are a delivery mechanism to install specific versions of an application. They include the application itself and any dependencies that application might need. While you weren't looking, I ran a DNF module list to list all the modules available on this system. If you look at the output, you'll notice we have a field here called streams. What is a module stream? Well, module streams are basically the specific version of that application you want to install. So let's say I wanted to update Java to something that wasn't Java 3.8. I would have to change the module stream to Java 3.7, and then I could use that module to reinstall Java and all its dependencies. Because the dependencies for Java 3.7 might be different than the dependencies from Java 3.8, and if I tried to install both of them at the same time, my system would break. So this is a way to keep you out of dependency hell. Why so many different names for what are pretty simple technical concepts? I have no idea. I assume the people at Red Hat want to feel important, so they change the name of things. I would too if I was in their position. Modules also have this thing called profiles. What are profiles? Well, profiles are collections of packages used for a particular purpose. So for instance, we might have a default profile, a server profile, a desktop profile when it comes to installing a particular module. Basically, it's different collections of the same packages, but they're cut down and targeted towards a particular target. If everything I just said confused you, that's okay. It confused me too. I had to read that part of the chapter a good 3 to 4 times to understand it. I'm not quite smart enough for me to read it on the first go, but after a few reps and a little bit of practical practice, things tend to stick. So let's go through the practical part of managing modules. A lot of times when I'm deploying web servers on Linux, I have to install PHP. We're going to use that as our test mule. So we can do DNF module list PHP. When you list that, you'll see we currently have PHP. It is on 8.1 stream, and we have the common profile enabled. See how everything we went over was just so much easier to describe once we went through an example. What if we wanted to get more information about that PHP module before we installed it? To do that, we would do DNF module info PHP. And as you can see, it lists a bunch of different PHP versions. So let's get more specific. Let's do PHP 8.1. Now when we scroll up, you'll see we get quite a bit info about PHP. So it shows us the module name, the stream, the version, the context, the architecture, what profile we have enabled, what the default profile is, what repo it pulls from, AppStream, as well as some summary information like the PHP scripting language. What if we wanted to change the module stream? Well, first we would have to enable the module, then install the module. Let's go ahead and do that. So first we would do DNF module list PHP. And as you can see, we have some additional options. So let's try to upgrade from our standard PHP 8.1 to PHP 8.3. To do that, we do DNF module enable PHP remi-8.2, and then it's going to prompt us and we hit yes. And then from there it's as simple as DNF module install php remi 8.2, and then it prompts us and it's basically letting us know it's going to get rid of all the packages and dependencies for PHP 8.1. We hit yes, yes, and there we go. We have now upgraded from PHP 8.1 to PHP 8.2. If you've ever had to do this on Ubuntu, you realize that what we just did was basically magical. There's a little bit of sorcery there, boys.